What if I told you that a single rabbit could lead you to a world where nothing makes sense, yet everything feels real? A place where cats vanish into thin air, tea never stops pouring, and the queen might just order your head for smiling. This is not the Wonderland you think you know. It's far stranger, far more dangerous, and you're about to tumble in.
Welcome to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
Hello, everyone. Hi, all, and welcome to Book Podcast Zone. I'm Emma, your guide through the wonderfully winding paths of knowledge and imagination.
And I'm John, ready to synthesize the madness and connect the seemingly disparate dots for you, revealing the hidden insights within the chaos.
Today, we're embarking on a truly unique journey. We're not just, talking about Lewis Carroll's timeless classic, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
No, we're really diving in.
Exactly. We're taking you on a chapter-by-chapter expedition, uncovering every curious detail and profound insight along the way.
We've really dug deep into a stack of sources, primarily one called Alice's Wonderland Journey, a chapter-by-chapter expedition, but also pulling from various critical analyses, biographical stuff about Carroll.
Right, to get the full picture. And we're here to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight for you.
Yeah, the goal is basically to give you a shortcut, a way to get really well-informed about Alice's adventures in Wonderland.
We want to reveal those surprising facts, get into the rich historical context, Victorian England and all that, but also highlight its undeniable modern relevance.
Absolutely. And keep it engaging, right?
Yeah.
Not like a dry lecture, far from overwhelming.
Definitely. So prepare yourselves because we're about to dive deep into a world where logic, well, it pretty much takes a holiday.
And imagination just runs wild.
Okay, so our grand adventure begins, like so many great stories do, on a deceptively ordinary afternoon. It's lazy, warm.
Almost sleepy, really.
Exactly. Picture it. Young Alice lounging by a riverbank, maybe a bit bored, mind drifting. It's all very serene, very normal. Until, bang, a sudden electrifying disruption, a white rabbit. But not just any rabbit.
No, this one's got a waistcoat on.
And a pocket watch. He dashes by, muttering nonstop about being late. Our source material calls this appearance pure chaos in a buttoned-up world. Such a perfect description, isn't it?
It really is. That stark contrast to Alice's, quiet daydreaming.
So what does Alice do? Does she think, weird rabbit? No, she's driven by what our research calls unstoppable curiosity.
That's the key phrase right there, unstoppable.
She doesn't hesitate. She springs up and plunges headfirst down this rabbit hole, just like that.
Without a second thought. It's impulsive, driven purely by that need to know, to see where he's going.
And the fall itself, it's not quick. It's this disorienting, almost dreamlike free fall, floating down.
Past shelves, right? Jars, books. It's bizarre. A journey into the absolute unknown.
And almost as soon as she lands, or even while she's falling, the rules of her world just bend, they break.
Yeah, the transformations start immediately. Shrinking, growing, drinking mysterious things, eating strange cakes.
It's that physical instability kicking off the whole adventure. Constant dizzying change from the get-go.
This opening chapter is, it's brilliant because it sets the stage instantly. This idea of sudden radical disruption of reality.
Right. So the key ideas here are
Abrupt change, definitely. The powerful allure of the unknown and that core driver. Unstoppable curiosity.
It makes you wonder about Carroll himself writing this back in, 1865?
Exactly. He was incredibly tuned in to his time. The Victorian era was obsessed with exploration, with new scientific discoveries.
Ah, okay. So it wasn't just pure fantasy.
Not entirely, no.
Yeah.
It was rooted in the cultural mood.
Yeah.
Think about someone like Charles Darwin, his voyages, his theories. They were shaking up how people understood the world.
Right, challenging everything.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So Alice has plunged down the rabbit hole. You can almost see it as a symbolic descent into that unknown territory, like the intellectual and scientific questions the Victorians were grappling with.
Interesting. So it's like one curious step can flip your whole world upside down.
That's it exactly. It immediately challenges Alice's and our understanding of reality.
Yeah.
The rules she knows just don't apply anymore.
So how does this connect to us today? To you, listening right now? The source material we looked at draws this fantastic analogy.
Oh yeah, the social media one.
That's the one. In today's fast-paced life, it's like scrolling through endless social feeds. Once you start, you're hooked. It's so true, isn't it?
It really is. Think about it. You start clicking on, news articles or maybe watching TikToks or Reels.
Or just exploring a new app someone recommended.
Right. And suddenly you look up. Hours have just vanished. And you're in a completely different headspace. You've gone down this path you didn't expect.
That's our modern American rabbit hole, isn't it? That endless scroll that just pulls you in, sometimes without you even realizing it.
It absolutely is. The allure of the unknown in our digital age is incredibly powerful. Sometimes, maybe even a little overwhelming.
Definitely. We get drawn into these unexpected online journeys so easily.
It starts with one click, right? One recommended video, one search, and then it just cascades. It really mirrors Alice's initial fall.
You start off trying to check one little thing.
And next thing you know, you're deep in some niche online community or reading about a topic you'd never even heard of an hour ago.
Or maybe arguing with strangers about something completely random.
Yeah, that too. It's that unstoppable curiosity, that basic human drive just manifesting in this incredibly potent way online.
Sometimes it's great. You learn something amazing.
Sure. And sometimes it just eats up your time. But either way, it's a journey away from where you started, a departure from your initial reality.
A perfect modern parallel. Okay, before we move on, just a quick reminder. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe to Book Podcast Zone, and share if you're enjoying this. It really helps us out. And now, let's continue our tumble further into Wonderland.
All right, Chapter 2, The Pool of Tears.
Yes, so Alice is still going through these wild size changes, right? It doesn't stop.
Not at all. 1 minute, she's huge, banging her head.
And the next, she's shrunk down super tiny again. It must be incredibly disorienting and frustrating for her.
Completely. And that instability, that feeling of helplessness, it really gets to her here. She hits an emotional breaking point.
And she cries. A lot.
A lot. A literal ocean of tears, as the source puts it. It's like her small problems, her frustrations, just become this massive flood.
And it's not just symbolic, is it? The consequence is real within Wonderland's logic.
Exactly. She finds herself actually swimming in her own salty pool of tears. It's such a vivid, almost visceral image of being totally overwhelmed.
But then something quite strange happens, even for Wonderland.
She's not alone for long. She meets this quirky mouse. Very formal.
Or other creatures too, right? All soggy.
Yeah, a duck, a dodo, an eaglet, a lory, all washed ashore in the flood of her tears. It's bizarre, but it creates this odd little community born from shared misery.
So what's the deeper meaning here? Obviously overwhelming emotions.
Definitely. It's a literal manifestation of how emotions can just engulf us, right? Turning something manageable into this huge, overwhelming environment.
Like drowning in your own feelings.
Precisely. But there's another layer, too. It shows how sharing that struggle, even in these weird circumstances, can bring beings together. That shared experience creates a strange kind of solidarity.
That's interesting. And Carroll's satire comes into play here too, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. He's definitely poking fun at the rigid etiquette and the storytelling styles of his time, particularly those really dry, stuffy lectures.
With the mouse's history lesson.
Exactly. The mouse launches into this incredibly dull, long-winded story about William the Conqueror. It's Carroll's way of satirizing those boring, rote school lessons that were so common in 19th century England.
You mean the kind where kids just had to memorize facts without any real engagement?
Precisely. Endless recitations, no imagination allowed. Carroll found it absurd, and he shows it through the mouse's dry tail, which literally fails to dry anyone off.
Okay, so connecting this to modern listeners. The source material we reviewed offers a really sharp analogy here.
What was it again?
It's like those viral moments where one bad day spirals online, but a good chat with friends pulls you out.
Yeah, that really hits home. It's so common now, isn't it? Someone has a bad moment, maybe makes a small mistake, shows some vulnerability.
And suddenly it explodes online. X, Facebook, TikTok, wherever.
Right. It becomes this massive public pool of tears. Everyone's wading in, commenting, judging. It must feel incredibly overwhelming for the person at the center of it.
Like the whole world is swimming in your private emotional outburst.
Exactly. But then, just like Alice finds this weird companionship with the mouse and the others who are literally soaked in the same problem.
You often see community emerge online too, right?
You do. Sometimes it's negative piling on, sure, but other times you see genuine support. A good, empathetic chat with friends offline, or even strangers online offering real support. It can pull someone out of that spiral.
It's a powerful reminder that connection matters, even when things feel overwhelmingly public and messy.
Definitely. That human connection, digital or physical, can be a real lifeline.
Okay, fantastic insights. And again, if you're finding this deep dive as intriguing as we are, please do like, subscribe, and share this with others who love exploring the unexpected. Your support keeps us going.
All right, moving on. Chapter 3, A Caucus-Race and a Long Tail.
So we left everyone dripping wet by the pool of tears.
Right, Alice, the mouse, the dodo, all those birds and beasts.
And now they need to get dry. The dodo comes up with a plan.
A very Wonderland plan. The Caucus-Race.
Which is completely bizarre. Alice just joins in this race where everyone runs in circles.
Pretty much no real start, no finish line, no defined track, just running around. The source calls it a bizarre race, and that's putting it mildly.
No rules, no objective beyond just moving.
Exactly. And the best part, or the most absurd part.
Everyone wins.
Everyone wins a prize. The dodo just declares it over whenever he feels like it, and boom, prizes for all. Usually Alice's own comfits, ironically.
It's pure, delightful nonsense. It really highlights the arbitrary nature of rules in Wonderland.
Absolutely. But then there's the second part of the chapter title, The Long Tail.
Ah, yes, the mouse's contribution.
Right. He offers to share his tail.
Which turns out to be a pun, right? It's actually a tale, a story printed in the shape of a mouse's tail in the book.
Exactly. A long, winding, curly poem about his history, which Alice gets confused by, thinking he means his literal tail. It's classic Carrollian wordplay, emphasizing that theme of confusion and how language itself can be slippery and playful.
So what are the core ideas Carroll's playing with here in this chapter?
Well, the Caucus-Race really speaks to the idea that life's rules can often seem, frankly, silly and unfair, maybe even pointless.
Like running in circles.
Exactly.
Right.
But interestingly, the source points out that even in the mess, fun emerges, and everyone gets a sense of achievement, however arbitrary.
So futility, arbitrary rules, but also satisfaction.
Yeah, there's a strange satisfaction in participation. Even if the goal is unclear or the rules make no sense, everyone gets their prize, their validation.
And knowing Carroll was a mathematician and logician, there's probably satire here too.
Oh, definitely. He's absolutely sneaking in some commentary on chaotic politics, the messy elections of his time, perhaps.
So,
Well, think about political processes or debates that seem to go nowhere, just round and round with lots of bluster, but maybe no real progress. And yet all sides might claim victory or feel they've scored points.
okay. The circular race, everyone winning. It's a jab at performative politics.
Precisely. It's a very clever, subtle critique hidden within the absurdity.
So, bringing that to two,
Yeah.
our source material hits us with another great analogy.
Let me guess. Social media again.
You got it. Imagine it as today's endless debates on social media. Round and round we go, but hey, everyone gets a thumbs up in the end.
Oof. That's sharp and painfully accurate sometimes.
Think about it. Those political discussions you see playing out online, whether it's Facebook or X, or even on local neighborhood apps like Nextdoor here in the US, don't they sometimes feel exactly like a caucus race? People arguing passionately, repeating the same points.
Going round and round.
Often with no resolution, no one changing their mind, no real progress made.
But everyone feels like they won, right? They got their point across, they got likes, they got shares, they got supportive comments from their own side.
Exactly. Everyone gets their prize, their little dopamine hit of validation.
It's that satisfaction of participation.
Yeah.
Even if the overall endeavor feels a bit futile. The lines between genuine debate and just performing for your own side get really blurry online.
People aren't always looking for understanding, are they? Sometimes it's just about being heard or getting that affirmation.
Yeah. It's fascinating how Carroll tapped into that aspect of human nature, that need for recognition, and the sometimes nonsensical structures we create long before the internet existed.
Truly timeless insight. Okay, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this deep dive with your fellow explorers. Onward to the next strange encounter.
Chapter 4. The rabbit sends in a little bill.
Right. So Alice, having survived the race and the tail, runs into the white rabbit again, and he's still frantic.
Even more so, perhaps. And this time, he completely mistakes her for his housemaid, Marianne.
Just assumes she works for him and starts ordering her around. Go fetch my gloves and fan.
Classic Wonderland misunderstanding. But Alice, still trying to be helpful, or maybe just confused, goes into his house.
And what does she find? Another mysterious little bottle.
Of course she does. And being Alice, curious and maybe a bit thirsty.
She drinks it without knowing what it'll do. Big mistake.
Huge. She balloons up to giant size, fills the entire room. Her arm gets stuck out the window. Her foot goes up the chimney.
It's this incredibly awkward, comical image of being completely out of proportion, trapped by her own size.
The whole situation throws the rabbit's household into chaos. They can't get in. They don't know what to do.
So they try to fix it in the most absurd ways, throwing pebbles that turn into cakes.
And then the grand plan? Send someone down the chimney.
Enter Little Bill, The lizard.
Yep. Poor Bill gets nominated, or rather, forced to be the one. They basically shoot him up the chimney like a rocket to try and kick Alice out.
It's absolute slapstick, born from panic and incompetence.
So the themes here are pretty clear. Mistaken identity, definitely. That feeling of being out of place, literally too big for the room.
And the awkwardness of growth spurts, right? The source connects it to those awkward teen phases we all remember.
Exactly. That feeling when your body is changing faster than you can adapt, leading to awkward social situations. Alice's physical changes constantly put her in these disorienting spots.
And the humor comes from the authority figures, like the rabbit, trying to solve problems they don't understand with completely useless methods.
Right, it's that panicked incompetence. And thinking about Carol's time, there's a layer of social satire here, too.
The class system again.
Carol's definitely reflecting the Victorian class system. The dynamic between the flustered, demanding master, the rabbit, the mistaken servant, Alice, and the, well, disposable labor. Poor Bill the lizard.
Bill's like the working class guy sent in to do the dangerous, dirty work.
Kinda, yeah. It reflects those clashes and comical, sometimes frustrating interactions between servants and bosses, employers and employees that were so defined by the rigid hierarchy of the time.
That adds another layer. And our source material links this to the modern world, too, saying it's much like office mix-ups in our corporate world today.
It's a great parallel. Think about the American corporate landscape. How often do you see absurd situations because of miscommunication, rigid hierarchies, or people being put in roles they're not suited for?
Like sending the intern to fix a massive server crash.
Exactly, the Little Bill scenario. Sending someone inexperienced or ill-equipped to tackle a huge problem because the people in charge are panicking or don't understand the issue themselves.
Or misidentifying an employee and giving them a task way above their pay grade or skill set.
Right. Leading to those comical or frustrating growth spurts within the office dynamic, where someone is suddenly expected to fill shoes that are way too big purely due to a mistake or an arbitrary decision for management.
That feeling of being the wrong size for the job, literally or metaphorically.
Precisely. Carroll's satire on class, authority, and incompetence still finds echoes in the sometimes dysfunctional reality of our modern workplaces.
Fascinating. Okay, another reminder. If you're enjoying this deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us bring you more fascinating journeys like this one.
All right, Chapter 5. Advice from a Caterpillar.
Ooh, this is a big one. A really iconic character enters the scene.
The caterpillar.
Oh.
Very chill, as the source says. Perched on a mushroom, puffing away on a hookah.
And he gets straight to the point, doesn't he? No small talk.
Not at all. He just looks at Alice and asks that incredibly profound yet simple question. Who are you?
Which is exactly what Alice has been struggling with.
Right. She's constantly changing size because of the mushroom she's nibbling. One side makes her grow, the other makes her shrink. She literally doesn't know who or what she'll be from one moment to the next.
So that question, who are you, must hit her really hard. She can't even give a straight answer.
Exactly. She tries, but she's confused. Her identity feels completely unstable, physically and mentally.
So the caterpillar here, he's more than just a weird bug, right?
Oh, much more. He functions as Alice's first real philosophical guide in Wonderland. A very blunt, somewhat aloof guide, but a guide nonetheless.
He forces her to confront her own identity.
Yes. In a world where nothing is stable, least of all her own body, he makes her grapple with that fundamental question of self.
So the key ideas are self-discovery, questioning reality.
And the impact of that blunt wisdom, as the source calls it. He doesn't coddle her, he just cuts through the confusion with that direct question.
What about the historical context? Carroll nodding to philosophy?
Definitely. The Victorian era saw a growing interest in philosophy, psychology, questions of consciousness and self. Carroll taps into that.
And the hookah. Is there a drug reference there?
It's often debated. Substances like opium were used more casually then, for medicinal purposes and sometimes recreationally. The hookah certainly adds to the dreamlike, altered state of perception in the scene. But Carroll is primarily exploring the theme of altered perception and shifting identity, rather than explicitly endorsing anything.
Okay, it's more about the feeling of reality being slippery.
Exactly. And he masterfully twists logic in their conversation, challenging Alice and us to think beyond surface appearances. What defines you when everything external keeps changing?
That's deep. Our research connects this to our time, saying it's like those deep late-night talks or therapy sessions that make you rethink everything profound yet playful.
That's a perfect analogy. Think about the rise of self-help culture. therapy becoming more mainstream, even things like podcast therapy sessions.
Or just those intense soul-searching conversations you have with friends late at night.
Right. The caterpillar's "who are you?" is essentially the core question in so much of that. It prompts self-reflection, challenges your assumptions about yourself.
Especially when you're going through big life changes like Alice's, albeit in a more fantastical way.
Exactly. It's about pausing and asking, okay, who am I really? Beneath all the external stuff, beneath the roles I play, beneath the changes I'm going through.
So the caterpillar, despite being kind of irritable and strange,
He offers a profound challenge. Like a good therapist or a really honest friend, might keep pushing you to look inwards and find your own answers, even when everything feels confusing.
finding clarity from within, not from outside labels.
Precisely.
Powerful stuff. Okay, make sure to like, subscribe, and share to keep this conversation going. We've got more mind-bending insights coming right up.
Okay, next up, Chapter 6, Pig and Pepper.
Oh, boy. If we thought things were chaotic before,
Yeah,
this chapter takes it up a notch.
definitely. Alice wanders into the Duchess's kitchen, and chaos reigns, is putting it mildly.
The first thing that hits you is the pepper, right? The air is thick with it.
So much pepper that everyone is sneezing uncontrollably. The Duchess, the baby, the cook.
It creates this instant atmosphere of irritation and discomfort.
Absolutely. And then the really weird stuff starts happening.
Like the grinning cat that just vanishes.
Our first proper introduction to the Cheshire Cat, appearing and disappearing at will, totally unfazed by the chaos,
And the baby. The Duchess is holding this screaming baby.
which Alice eventually takes pity on, only to find it turning into a pig in her arms.
It's utterly bizarre. A kitchen filled with sneezing, a vanishing cat, a pig baby, and flying cookware.
Right. The cook is just randomly throwing pots and pans. Alice has to dodge flying objects, navigate the rude cook, the angry Duchess. It's a sensory and emotional overload.
So what's Carroll getting at here? It feels like more than just random craziness.
It is. A key idea is how environments shape behavior. The sheer unpleasantness of the kitchen, the pepper, the noise, the heat, makes everyone irritable and prone to anger.
So the environment itself breeds the chaos.
Largely, yes. It leads to the absurdity of anger and reinforces those themes of temper and transformation. The kitchen is like a pressure cooker for negative emotions and unpredictable change.
And thinking about Carroll's time, is there satire here too? Against Victorian life?
Oh, for sure. He's definitely satirizing aspects of Victorian family life. Think about wealthy households with their strict, sometimes cruel nannies, the noise and chaos of large families confined indoors.
The Duchess is kind of a monstrous maternal figure, isn't she?
Very much so. And the cook's random violence. It could be seen as a comment on the often fraught dynamics within domestic service. Carroll drew inspiration from his own observations in Oxford, the families he knew.
It's a critique of the domestic sphere hidden in absurdity, how even a proper home can descend into madness.
Exactly. Our source material sums up the modern feel perfectly. Think of it as a wild family gathering gone wrong, relatable to today's viral kitchen fails.
Huh, that's brilliant. Everyone can relate to that, right?
Absolutely. Anyone who's been through a big, stressful family event, Thanksgiving dinner in the U.S. is a classic example, or a big reunion.
All those different personalities crammed together, the pressure of cooking, maybe old tensions flaring up.
It can quickly devolve into the domestic equivalent of the Duchess's kitchen. Stress levels high, tempers fraying, maybe something literally goes wrong with the food.
The turkey catches fire, someone drops the cake.
Right, those viral kitchen fail moments. Or just those chaotic family anecdotes that get told and retold for years. It's that universal experience where the pressure builds, things get weird, and reality feels a bit bendy.
Like a baby turning into a pig. Metaphorically speaking, sometimes?
Metaphorically, yes. It shows how even familiar spaces can become unpredictable and absurd under stress.
Another great connection. Okay, don't miss a beat of this deep dive. Like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves a good story, especially a chaotic one.
And now, perhaps the most famous scene in the entire book. Chapter 7, A Mad Tea Party.
Definitely iconic. Alice, guided by the Cheshire Cat's grin, stumbles upon this outdoor tea party.
But it's not just any tea party. It's a never-ending tea party.
With the most eccentric hosts imaginable. The Hatter.
Often mistakenly called the Mad Hatter, though Carroll never actually uses that full name in the book itself.
Ah, good point. So, the Hatter, the March Hare, who is mad because it's March, supposedly.
Right. Mad as a March hare was a common expression.
And the Dormouse, who's constantly falling asleep, often in the teapot.
A truly bizarre trio. And the core problem, the central paradox, is that time is broken for them.
It's always 6 o'clock. Tea time.
Exactly. The Hatter supposedly murdered the time when he sang for the Queen of Hearts. So time personified stopped working for him. It's perpetually 6 p.m.
Which means the party never ends, they can never finish tea, they just keep moving around the table to find clean cups.
Precisely. It creates this sense of endless, pointless ritual, and the conversation reflects that.
Oh, the conversation is nuts. Riddles with no answers.
Like the famous, "Why is a raven like a writing desk?"
Oh.
which Carroll himself later admitted had no intended answer.
Personal insults, logical contradictions, just pure unadulterated nonsense. Alice tries so hard to make sense of it, but she can't.
No, it's impossible. The chapter is a masterclass in challenging logic, etiquette, rationality. The key ideas are broken logic and endless frustration.
You really feel Alice's frustration trying to have a normal conversation.
You do. But it's balanced by the sheer absurdity and the hilarious banter. It's frustrating, but it's also undeniably funny and captivating.
And Carol's inspiration here, tea parties were a big deal in Victorian England, right?
Huge. A cornerstone of social life, with very strict rules of etiquette. Carroll plays with those rules, twists them into absurdity.
And the time element, was that just random?
Not entirely. Besides the social obsession with punctuality, Victorians hated being late. There's a story that Carroll had a personal falling out with a local Oxford watchmaker.
Seriously, so he turned a personal gripe into this iconic scene.
It seems plausible. He transformed these cultural preoccupations and maybe even personal annoyances into this timeless depiction of social madness and temporal breakdown.
That's brilliant. So connecting it to today, our source suggests the modern vibe is...
Let me guess. Zoom calls?
Bingo. It's like those Zoom calls that drag on forever, full of inside jokes.
Oh, we've all been there.
Yeah.
That mandatory work meeting or maybe an online class that just will not end.
The conversation goes off on tangents. People are clearly multitasking or zoning out.
There are weird inside jokes or comments that only make sense to a few people, leaving everyone else confused.
You're secretly checking the clock, wondering if time has actually stopped.
It perfectly captures that feeling. That unique blend of shared endurance, performative participation, social awkwardness, and bizarre humor that can emerge when group communication breaks down, especially online.
It's the modern Mad Tea Party, stuck in a digital loop.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Carroll's insights into social dynamics are just uncanny.
Absolutely. Okay, if you're enjoying this ride through Wonderland's madness, show us some love by liking, subscribing, and sharing.
All right, Chapter 8. Things take a slightly more menacing turn here. The Queen's croquet ground.
Yeah, menacing is the right word. Alice leaves the tea party and finds her way into the royal gardens.
Where she sees playing cards painting white roses red, terrified of the Queen.
And then she gets roped into this absolutely insane game of croquet.
Insane is right. The equipment itself is alive and uncooperative. Flamingos are used as mallets.
Which keep trying to look up or fly away.
And hedgehogs are the balls, constantly unrolling and wandering off.
Plus, the arches are soldiers bending over. It's impossible to actually play properly.
It's described as a completely rigged croquet game. Chaos reigns, and the rules are constantly changing or being ignored, mostly by the Queen herself.
Ah, the Queen of Hearts. Talk about a character. She's just pure tyranny.
Absolutely. Incredibly shouty, volatile, and known for her one solution to every problem.
Off with their heads! She yells it constantly, doesn't she? At the slightest provocation, or for no reason at all.
Creates an atmosphere of complete terror. Everyone is just trying to avoid her wrath.
But Alice, this is where she really starts to show her strength, isn't it?
It is. Despite the danger, despite the Queen's power, she stands up to the bullying. She doesn't cower. She questions the absurdity, argues back.
So the big themes here are power, injustice.
Confronting bullying, definitely, and highlighting that bravery in kids, that innate sense of fairness that Alice displays even when faced with overwhelming irrational authority.
And Carroll's satire, is he mocking the monarchy?
Oh, absolutely. He's clearly mocking the arbitrary power of monarchy and the often harsh, senseless justice systems of his day.
Off with their heads feels like a direct parody of overly severe punishment.
Exactly. It's a jab at the swift, often disproportionate judgments handed down by those in power, where whim and temper overruled reason or law.
It's powerful stuff, and the modern connection our source makes is pretty chilling.
The cancel culture one.
Yeah. In 2025, it echoes online cancel culture, quick tempers, and wild accusations everywhere.
It's a strong comparison, and you can see the parallels. Think about how fast public opinion can mobilize online, especially here in the U.S.
Someone says or does something deemed wrong, maybe taken out of context.
And instantly, there's this massive pile-on. Quick tempers and wild accusations fly around. People demand consequences, often without full information or due process.
It's like a digital off with their heads.
Metaphorically, yes.
Yeah.
The speed and intensity of online shaming, the call-outs, the demands for deplatforming or firing, it can feel very much like the Queen's arbitrary, emotion-driven pronouncements.
Judgment passed instantly, often without nuance or a chance for defense.
Right. It reflects that same dynamic of arbitrary power and swift, often disproportionate consequences that Carroll was satirizing back in the 19th century. A very modern echo of Wonderland's tyranny.
Food for thought, definitely. Okay, keep diving deeper with us. Like, subscribe, and share this episode to help others discover the madness and the meaning.
Okay, Chapter 9. We get a bit of a breather, sort of. The Mock Turtle's story.
A breather, but a very melancholy one, right? Alice is introduced to the Mock Turtle by the Queen. Well, ordered to go meet him.
Along with the Griffin, who acts as a sort of guide or chaperone, and the Mock Turtle is, well, he's very weepy.
Constantly sighing and sobbing. Because he used to be a real turtle, but now he's only Mock Turtle. Like the soup.
Exactly. Another brilliant Carrollian pun based on Mock Turtle soup, which is made from veal, not turtle. So he's perpetually sad about his mock status.
And he and the Griffin spend their time reminiscing about their school days. Under the sea, apparently.
Right. And their description of the lessons is fantastic. They talk about learning reeling and writhing.
Which is a pun on writing and writer.
Yes. And ambition, distraction, uglification, and derision instead of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division.
It paints this picture of a completely absurd, maybe even slightly torturous education.
Definitely. It evokes confusion, boredom, maybe even physical discomfort. It's nostalgia, but viewed through that distorting Wonderland lens.
So the main themes are nostalgia, but also a critique of education.
Yeah, nostalgia and twisted education, as the source puts it. It shows how memories can get warped over time, romanticized, or made even more absurd in the retelling.
And it digs into that rote, often nonsensical nature of Victorian schooling again.
Absolutely. Carroll, remember, was a tutor and lecturer at Oxford. He knew the education system well.
So he's spoofing the fancy subjects they taught.
Exactly. Things like Latin, Greek, elaborate dances, the lobster quadrille, which we'll get to, drawing, music, subjects that were considered essential for a proper Victorian upbringing, but were often taught in a very rigid, uninspiring way.
Reeling and writhing really captures that feeling of dry, maybe painful lessons.
It does. It's a clever critique of an educational system that often valued formality and memorization over genuine understanding or engagement.
Okay, so how does this land today? The source gives us this. It's like reminiscing about weird high school classes with a dash of today's meme-worthy throwbacks.
That's perfect. Everyone has those memories, right? That one truly bizarre class, or the teacher who taught something completely useless or had really strange methods.
Oh, totally. The class that felt like torture at the time, but now you tell stories about it and laugh.
Exactly. And just like the Mock Turtle's weird lesson names, those strange educational moments often become meme-worthy throwbacks. You see posts online like, remember when we had to learn? And everyone shares their own weird school experiences.
It's that shared nostalgia for the absurdity of parts of our education. Finding humor in the bizarre things we were forced to learn or endure.
Yeah. Carroll really tapped into something universal there, the way we look back on our schooling, especially the stranger parts, with a mix of fondness, disbelief, and humor.
It's surprisingly timeless. Okay, don't let the rabbit hole close just yet. Like, subscribe, and share to stay connected for more revelations.
Moving on to Chapter 10, The Lobster Quadrille.
Yes. After the melancholy Mock Turtle, we get this burst of pure, unadulterated fun.
It's a real shift in tone. The Mock Turtle and the Griffin decide to demonstrate a dance for Alice.
The Lobster Quadrille, which involves, well, lobsters?
And other sea creatures. They describe this elaborate, whimsical dance where you partner with a lobster, throw it out to sea, swim after it.
It sounds incredibly impractical and chaotic, but joyful.
Exactly. They sing the song, describe the steps. It's a scene filled with movement, rhythm, and absurdity used purely for enjoyment.
They also share stories about ocean life, like whiting using their tails and their mouths to travel and dealing with snarky snails.
Right. It adds to the playful, imaginative atmosphere. It's a moment free from the anxiety and threats of the Queen or the confusion of the Tea Party.
So the focus here is really on
joy in movement and letting go of fears, as the source notes. It emphasizes pure, carefree fun.
It's a moment where the absurdity isn't confusing or frustrating, it's actually liberating.
Precisely. It's Wonderland's chaos, channeled into pure, joyous expression. A much-needed release for Alice and for the reader.
Where did Carol get the idea for this? Was the quadrille a real dance?
Yes, the quadrille was a popular, quite formal four-couple square dance in the Victorian era. Carroll takes that formal structure and injects it with seaside absurdity.
Seaside. Was that connection important?
It likely was. Seaside holidays were becoming very popular for middle and upper-class Victorians, a chance to escape the city, enjoy fresh air, and perhaps engage in slightly less formal amusements.
And Carol himself took trips with Alice Liddell and her family to the coast, right?
He did, yes. Places like Eastbourne. So he's weaving in those popular cultural elements, the dance, the seaside escape, and twisting them into this delightful fantasy. It captures that spirit of holiday fun and letting loose.
It's a reminder that even in the midst of madness, there can be pure joy.
Exactly. A release from logic, from rules, from fear, just fun.
Our source connects this feeling to the present day, saying, for now, it's akin to those beach party videos that go viral. Pure, carefree fun.
That's a great modern image. Think about those videos you see online, especially in the summer here in the U.S. Spontaneous dance parties on the beach, big group dances at festivals.
Or even just those viral dance challenges where everyone joins in.
Right. There's a shared joy in watching people just let go, move their bodies, and have fun together without being self-conscious.
It's infectious, isn't it, that energy?
It really is. It's the modern equivalent of the lobster quadrille, a moment of collective, uninhibited, carefree fun that doesn't need to make logical sense. It just feels good.
Tapping into that universal need for play and expression.
Precisely.
Wonderful. We're nearing the end of our journey through the chapters, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this deep dive with friends.
Okay, Chapter 11. We're heading towards the climax now. Who stole the tarts?
The tone shifts again. Back to tension, back to absurdity. But this time in a formal setting. A courtroom.
A completely chaotic courtroom. The King and Queen of Hearts are presiding as judges.
Which already tells you this isn't going to be fair.
Not a chance. The accused is the poor Knave of Hearts.
On trial for supposedly stealing the Queen's tarts. A serious crime in Wonderland, apparently.
Very serious. But the trial itself is a total farce. The jurors are stupid animals and birds who can't even write their own names properly.
The witnesses are completely useless.
Including the Hatter, who comes in still holding his teacup, the March Hare, and the Dormouse. They offer nonsensical, irrelevant testimony.
And the evidence presented is just ridiculous, like a poem that doesn't actually implicate the knave at all.
Right. It's filled with nonsense evidence and chaotic witnesses. The whole thing is a mockery of justice. The Queen keeps demanding sentence first, verdict afterwards.
Which is the definition of unfairness.
Exactly. It highlights those themes of justice gone wrong and the importance, which we'll see more of in the final chapter, of standing your ground against such absurdity.
It's a critique of the legal system again, isn't it? Even more pointedly than with the Queen's croquet ground.
Absolutely. Carroll is directly lampooning the legal systems of the 1800s. As a logician, he likely found the pomp, the convoluted procedures, and the often illogical outcomes of real trials quite absurd.
He's showing how easily bias, emotion, and incompetence can overshadow actual evidence and due process.
Precisely. The trial is more about performance and the King and Queen asserting their power than about finding the truth.
It feels very theatrical, which leads nicely into the modern comparison from our source.
The reality TV one, yep.
Picture it as today's reality TV trials, over the top and utterly gripping.
It's scarily accurate, isn't it? If you've watched any of those popular reality shows based in courtrooms, or even some of the highly sensationalized TV coverage of real trials here in the U.S.
The drama is definitely ramped up. It becomes entertainment.
Exactly. Often over the top and utterly gripping, focusing on the emotional outbursts, the dramatic testimonies, the shocking twists. The entertainment value can sometimes seem more important than the careful, methodical pursuit of justice.
It mirrors the knave's trial, chaotic, illogical, driven by personality and spectacle rather than facts.
Yeah, it's a fascinating, if slightly unnerving, reflection of how justice can be performed and consumed as entertainment both in Wonderland and sometimes in our own world.
A powerful parallel. Okay, just one more chapter to go in Alice's adventure. Show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing this episode.
And here we are, the final chapter. Chapter 12, Alice's Evidence.
The culmination of everything. Alice herself is called as a witness in the ridiculous tart trial.
But something has changed in Alice. She's not the timid, confused girl from the beginning. She's been growing literally and figuratively.
Right, she starts growing physically larger again during the trial, knocking over the jury box.
But more importantly, she grows bold, emotionally and intellectually.
She's had enough of the nonsense.
Completely. When asked to give evidence, she basically calls them all out.
Yeah.
She says the trial is absurd, the evidence is meaningless. She directly challenges the king and queen.
She declares famously, "You're nothing but a pack of cards."
It's her ultimate act of defiance, rejecting the entire illogical framework of Wonderland. She finally finds her voice and asserts her own reason.
And what happens when she does that?
The whole illusion collapses. The cards rise up and attack her, swirling around her. It's the final chaotic climax.
And then?
Poof. She wakes up. She's back on the riverbank, her head in her sister's lap. It was all a dream.
Wow. So the ending really ties everything together.
It does. It wraps up with these powerful themes of empowerment and reality checks.
Oh.
Alice has completed her journey, found her strength, and now she returns to her own world, changed by the experience.
It leaves you pondering, doesn't it? Dreams versus life, the nature of reality.
Absolutely. Her awakening isn't just an escape. It's the result of her asserting her own perspective against the dream's illogic. It's a moment of profound growth.
And Carroll's intent here, connecting to Victorian ideas.
Well, it reflects those Victorian coming-of-age narratives. The young protagonist goes through trials, learns about themselves and the world, and emerges stronger and more mature. Alice has navigated the chaos and found her footing.
She brings something back from the dream.
Exactly. An understanding, a confidence perhaps. She's ready to engage with her reality in a new way.
That makes sense. Our research offers one last analogy for today. In our era, it's like snapping out of a binge watch session, wiser and ready for more.
That's a fantastic way to put it. Think about finishing a really immersive TV series, maybe on Netflix or Max or whatever service you use here in the US.
You've been living in that world for hours, maybe days.
Deeply invested in the characters, the plot. And then the final episode ends. The credits roll and you kind of blink. You snap out of it.
You're back in your own room, your own life, maybe a little disoriented.
Yeah, maybe a bit disoriented or even sad it's over. But often you feel like you've gained something. You feel wiser for the experience.
You've absorbed new ideas, felt different emotions, seen things from a new perspective.
Exactly. Like Alice, you return to your reality, maybe slightly changed, enriched by the journey and ready for whatever's next. It shows how even these immersive, dreamlike experiences, like Wonderland or a great TV show, can actually lead to real insight and growth.
A perfect final thought on the power of story and imagination. #, #outro. And just like that, like Alice waking up on the riverbank, we've emerged from our own deep dive into Wonderland. Wow, what a journey.
It really was. From tumbling down that rabbit hole,
Swimming in tears, running in circles, growing and shrinking,
meeting caterpillars, Cheshire cats, mad hatters, and tyrannical queens.
all the way to that chaotic trial and Alice finally finding her voice.
We've really traced those key themes, haven't we? The power of that unstoppable curiosity.
The absurdity of rules, both in Wonderland and sometimes, let's be honest, in our own world.
The slippery nature of identity, that constant transformation Alice goes through.
And ultimately, the importance of asserting your own reason, finding your voice, even when everything around you feels nonsensical.
And hopefully by going chapter by chapter, digging into the context, the satire, the modern relevance, using resources like Alice's Wonderland journey.
We've given you that shortcut we talked about. A way to feel really well-informed, to grasp the complex ideas woven into this seemingly simple children's story.
Exactly. Distilling it down into insights that hopefully resonate with your own life and experiences. And as we leave Wonderland behind this place that made absolutely no logical sense, yet felt so intensely real while we were there, it does leave us with a rather provocative thought, doesn't it?
Go on.
What if the most nonsensical, the most chaotic, the most absurd parts of our own lives, what if those are actually the places where we learn the deepest truths about ourselves, about the world?
Finding meaning in the madness.
Perhaps. And related to that final chapter, in our current world, filled with information overload, social pressures, digital wonderlands of all kinds, how often do we need to consciously decide to wake up?
To step back from the noise, the illusions, the echo chambers.
Exactly. To wake up from the things that don't actually make sense and stand up, like Alice did, for what truly resonates with our own reason, our own sense of reality. When do we need to declare, "You're nothing but a pack of cards," to the absurdities we face?
That's a powerful question to ponder. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Alice's adventures in Wonderland here on Book Podcast Zone.
It's been a real pleasure exploring it with you.
If you enjoyed this exploration as much as we did, please do us a favor. Like this episode, subscribe to Book Podcast Zone for more fascinating journeys into literature, history, and ideas.
And please share it. Share it with anyone else who loves to tumble down a good rabbit hole of knowledge and imagination.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.